recording. Hello, everybody. I'm here with Bobby Blitz Ellworth of Overkill. How you doing, bro?
What do you say, Paul? How's everything?
Doing all right. It's good seeing you again for the third time. All right. I read a review in Metal Hammer on the new album. They gave it a great review, 4 stars or something like that. Seemed like there's been positive reviews so far from the press and from the fans.
Well, so far so good. I mean, it seems like it's a really healthy time for the scene.
Mm-hmm.
The chemistry of the band is very high over the last couple records, the Ironbound and Electric Age records.
Yeah.
And I think you got to exploit that. You know, when it's hot, use it. And this seems to be hot right now, so we're in good songwriting mode. We're in good touring shape. We're in overkill business as usual. So that's I think that's the idea. And the Electric Age is being accepted on that high level.
Okay. I was like listening to some Pantera stuff, like Cowboys from Hell, and some Voter Display of Power, and then I listened to some of the Overkill stuff. I noticed there's some similarities as far as the riffing and stuff, the chugga, the grooves and stuff like that. It seemed like they were pretty much influenced by you guys.
Geez, I've never actually heard that before. I suppose there's obviously similarity with regard to approach.
I mean, not by influence, but there's still like the same familiar groove, chugga riffing, and
there's a lot of chugging in both our stuff and the Pantera stuff. And one of the things that I've always thought about Pantera is that they sure were metal influenced band, but really took it to their own level with regard to their originality. So sure, there's always similarities with regard to metal bands, but I think that there's also huge differences between Pantera and Overkill.
Yeah. Well, you guys are more of the heavier, punkier accept to me.
Mm-hmm.
When I first heard Under the Fire, Taking Over is my personal favorite.
Okay.
It's like, man, these dudes are like accept on speed, I mean, because your vocals are very similar to Udo's in a way.
To some degree, I've heard that a lot. Yeah.
And I thought you guys were like, in some ways, the accept of thrash metal.
Well, it's kind of a compliment. I mean, that was a band that made huge headway and is still making it now with the new singer Mark, who's the perfect replacement for Udo. I mean, it's not even a replacement. It's actually as if the band continued to just move forward with the quality of his voice. And those guys have released some great stuff with
their new one is great too.
Stalingrad, yeah, it's a really, really good record. But I've heard the Udo comparisons, Udo on speed, or occasionally some people even call me Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like when I seen you in '89 till now, I was kind of disappointed you guys didn't play Power Surge, but you still had the same energy when I seen you guys here about 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, shoot.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Then when I seen you in '89, you still get that same energy and passion. What keeps you going? I mean, what keeps Overkill going? Judas Priest, they decided to pass the baton to somebody else. Now it's Iron Maiden, you guys.
Well, I think passion is passion. I don't think you can feign or fake passion. If you're passionate about something, whether it be music or whether it be something else in one's life, I think that evokes a real passion as opposed to a fake passion. And I think that that's the reason that we can keep the energy level very high is that this is why it happens. It happens because of energy. And I think to some degree I'm addicted to that energy. To some degree I'm passionate about that energy. I need it in my life. So from the personal standpoint, this is just a natural expression of what we do. This is not really thought about or trying to be presented with regard to how anyone else does it. It's just about our own passion with regard to the music.
When you first started Overkill, I know you had your distractors within your support system, like family and stuff. Oh, you're never gonna get your kids, support your kids through your band and all that stuff. But you guys able to, support your kids' education and all that stuff just by playing in Overkill. And
well, one of the things is that my parents never said that to me. My father told me that. He said when I was a kid, he said, "Hey, if you want to be a bait salesman at the end of the fishing pier, just be the best bait salesman you can be.
Yeah.
and then you'll be happy.
Yeah.
And so I had or still have great parents that that supported this as long as I was passionate about it.
Yeah.
So it was never discussions about not doing it. There was always discussions just about, for instance, doing it better.
Yeah.
And I think that really, everything falls into place. If you go into a business for money, then it's about the money becomes the motivation. If you go into a business, for instance, for service or for to provide a quality product, then all that other shit just falls into place.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it's about. It's not about saying, hey, I'm opening this store or this nightclub so I can get rich. If that's the case, then it's going to be a shitty nightclub. If you're opening that nightclub because I want to bring the best bands I can to Dallas, Texas, then probably you'll get rich. by being able to present something that you think is quality.
Before the Ironbound tour, how long has it been since you guys played Texas? Before the Ironbound tour?
I think it was probably 10 years. But we've been back through it twice now. The last two records, which is kind of nice. I mean, there was some cancellations. I remember Hurricane Rita knocked us out once, and a few other things. But it seems like Texas is right back on the touring schedule again, and that's important.
I know you guys did a show in Kansas City. I know it's been a while. It's been since '89 since you played Kansas City with Nuclear Assault. God, I got a good brain. And what it was like playing there again after all these years. And
well, I think once you go back to a place after all these years, there's always people that anticipate that.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's almost got like this homecoming type feel to it. So the show was really crowded, really enthusiastic. I like doing that. I think that if you're common and you're always available to be seen, it becomes less special, less of an event. So I think under these circumstances, being back in Texas or doing Kansas City again for the first time in probably 15 years was good things.
One thing I've been noticing, me and you, we grew up on bands like BOC, Ghost, the new band Ghost. They remind me of Blue Oyster Cult so much.
Okay.
And me and you, we grew up listening to them bands. What do you think of all these bands that's coming back, bringing the 70s sound back that we grew up listening to?
Well, I mean, I was always kind of a 70s hard rock kind of a guy. I love that stuff in the early heavy metals and what was considered heavy metal at that time. So resurgence of it, I think, is great. I mean, I start listening obviously to newer bands and hearing things that I heard when I was a kid. So I think it's a great, let's say, memory trigger, and to hear new stuff being not say rehashed, but let's say taken with a positive contemporary presentation is always exciting.
Especially, you grew up around the area of Blue Oyster Cult from the Long Island area. That's kind of like brought that memory too sometimes. Sure. So what was it like growing up listening to them? I mean, from your own perspective.
Well, I mean, they were a local band that went worldwide. That's really when something like that happens. I'm not from Long Island. I actually from New Jersey, and we don't really pay much attention to Long Island. So it's
but your attitude reflects the attitude of the governor when the Nets moved to Brooklyn. But on the new album, there's some old, slow Sabbath type riffing too. That's real cool too. You guys gonna play any of the new songs live tonight?
Well, I mean that's the idea of doing the tour. I mean, the new songs are exciting for us. The idea of just playing old stuff is really about what we were. The new stuff is about what we are. Yeah. So I mean that's for us
like an evolution.
That becomes the most exciting part about touring is doing the newer songs because this is probably the 15th show of the tour, and so I've only done Electric Rattlesnake and Wish You Were Dead and Save Yourself 15 times live. So, but I've done Rotten to the Core 4,000 times live. Yeah. So I'll always choose for the newer ones when I have the option to do so.
Okay, so you guys also sold out of the new CDs too, huh?
Everything's gone on this. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so disappointed. But regardless, in retrospect, you guys almost hitting the 30-year mark. You think Overkill's going to be around as long as the Rolling Stones?
We can't say that. I mean, the only reason this has worked is by not looking into the future.
Yes.
It's by looking into the moment. If the moment explodes, usually you get another moment. It's about opportunity. You know, if this opportunity is now Dallas, Texas, I have to consider this the opportunity, not what's going to happen tomorrow or what happens down the road. The only thing we ever plan is touring and a schedule to record. Beyond that, it's really about moment to moment.
Okay. All right. I'd like to thank you for this interview, and I hope you enjoyed the show.
It's my pleasure.
My pleasure, too. Okay. Thank you, brother.
All right, dude.
All right.